Demon's Tilt is the latest in an attempt at elevating pinball design by turning into more of a quasi-adventure or action game, as opposed to traditional pinball focusing on scores and a very set kind of layout. Earlier examples would be games like Kirby's Pinball Land, Mario Pinball Land, and one of my favorite games, I have no idea if it holds up well, Patank. And Demon's Tilt has some good ideas to it, but a few aspects of it unfortunately make the game almost borderline unplayable for me. But the general concept is that we are going on kind of an RPG-ish adventure. It just so happens that our adventure is about moving on pinball tables as opposed to exploring the land. So each one of the game's boards is laid out as you can see here, with multiple essentially floors of challenges and various events to complete. You have objectives you can see on the right hand side, and the big point about this game is that the board is a lot more interactable compared to what we see from a traditional pinball game, such as the stuff we see from the Pinball Arcade with digitizing real tables, or Pinball FX's model of making original tables but still adhering to that same kind of mechanics. In Demon's Tilt, your challenge is the fact that, unlike traditional pinball, while you are still using the board's internal physics, a big part about this game is making use of tilting, which, as anyone who's played pinball, is the very act of hitting the table to kind of influence the physics of the ball. In this game, instead of you influencing the table, when you hit the tilt command, it actually moves the ball, kind of like a pseudo dodge roll for fans of the Dark Souls series. And the table layouts are very interestingly done, with a lot more of a greater emphasis on the fact that this is not a real table, and it's never meant to be. So the game is able to do a lot more in terms of having original challenges, things popping up, even dodging bullets, and having sub-tables as bonuses. And this adds up to making Demon's Tilt just all around be a unique take on this kind of design, especially for PC fans, as I don't think there were any other kind of like adventure pinball tables released on the PC. And for anyone who knows of any, please let me know in the comments below. But with that said, however, after this quick shout out to our current Game Wisdom Patreon supporters and sponsors, I want to talk about how a few elements of this game just really add up to just souring me, unfortunately, on the whole design. And now a quick shout out to our current Game Wisdom supporters and sponsors. All Patreon supporters will now get early access to our videos, and if you'd like to continue this discussion on game design, be sure to check out our Discord channel, linked down below. If you're looking for more wisdom about game design, be sure to check out my latest offering of books, 20 Essential Games to Study, aimed for first-time developers and students looking for some inspiration for their upcoming games, and Game Design Deep Dive Platformers if you're interested in anything regarding 2D and 3D platforming design. They're both available in print, digital, and wherever books are being sold. With Demon's Tilt design, a major element of this game is the fact that you must tilt the table. This is not like a traditional table or traditional pinball, where you can make use of a lot of advanced elements, such as being able to do a dead bounce over, or some of the more advanced elements I cannot remember off the top of my head right now. But the game basically tells you up front that you need to make use of tilting in order to have any chance at winning. And a big reason for that is the fact that you are tilting the ball, again, instead of the table. So if you're watching very carefully during this footage, as I'm tilting, you can see the ball kind of bouncing in the direction. And this is a big point, and it's also one of the more frustrating elements of it. From a control standpoint, the game just did not feel right in my hands. I tried using my gamepad, I also tried using a keyboard and mouse, and I could just not get the tilt as well as the flipper commands to feel intuitive. And that is a very serious problem for a game that is pretty much built entirely on controlling your ball. I think part of the problem is that the game doesn't seem to recognize the dead zone of my analog stick. And despite mashing the left analog stick or even changing it to the right analog, I could not get the tilt to work properly. And when I can't get a basic control of the game to work, it basically makes things unplayable. Now, another problem that is more universal, I feel, to this game is the camera. As you've been watching the footage, you've probably been noticing that as the ball moves up and down, the camera adjusts and basically transitions or zooms around accordingly. The problem is that when the ball starts moving like very fast, the camera seems to have an issue with keeping up with this. And there are several cases that as I'm shooting the ball up, by the time the table, or by the time the actual camera catches up to where the ball is, it's already begun falling down. And when you're in the middle of the table specifically, you'll notice that as the ball moves in any direction, the table starts shifting up and down very quickly to try and compensate for it. And this just makes it very hard to be able to actually extrapolate when I hit the tilt where the ball is going to go at any given time. And like I said, this game demands that you use the tilt feature. And if you cannot get it to work, whether by your controller, the camera, or just your own lack of skill at doing it, this game becomes impossible to play. As you can see on that top layer there, the actual flippers are laid out so wide that you can't even really do a safe dead bounce over without messing it up. Now, I was playing this on, I guess it's considered normal or hard difficulty, so I don't know if the easier settings actually will affect things. But this is definitely one of those cases where we have a really great design, but the actual implementation just is not working for me as well as it should. Now, with all that said though, if these issues either don't bother you or you're able to accommodate for them, then this is a very unique and original take on pinball. And I have to give the developer credit for that. But this just proved to be too frustrating for me to really enjoy. And as somebody who got so used to the physics of stuff such as the pinball arcade, I found it just really a sour meal on a lot of other pinball kind of titles. And I think another thing that kind of hurts the game in terms of the camera is the very fact that there's so much kind of dead space on the tables here, or on the actual display. As you can see, at least with this first table, you're really only focusing on the middle of the screen. And it's so zoomed out that it makes it a little bit harder to see the pinball. Like when I play stuff like the Pinball Arcade and Pinball FX, I tend to go for a view that makes it or fills up more of the screen. So I don't have to worry about like the camera kind of messing with me or making it hard to track the ball. And things do get a little bit crazy, especially when a lot of the bullet effects, yes, there are bullet effects in a pinball game, tend to happen. With all that said though, we're going to wrap up this first look here. Again, very original concept that I don't think the implementation works all the way for me. And I'm curious for those of you watching this who have also played Demon's Tilt, if you manage to get the tilt feature to feel natural for you. And if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. With that said, thanks for watching this video. If you're new, be sure to check out the Discord and Patreon link down below, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games. Once again, this has been Demon's Tilt, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed things, be sure to do all the liking and subscribing that the kids are doing these days. Check out our Discord channel link down below where we hang out and chat game design, and come back later tonight for our regular streamings. But that's it, and tune in for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.